Hello, lovely people. It is a meeting place of heaven and earth. I am out at which I might be able to see over here through the trees. God and Goddess, thank you so much for this beautiful day and for the ability to come here and enjoy the lake and the sunshine and the fresh air. Thank you so much for the blessings that you continue to bestow upon us, the insights that you are giving to our world in all different types of ways. Please help us to see through the distractions and the psyops, all of the divide and conquer tactics, all of the separation agendas, the evil ones, so that we can come together and make this world a better place for all of us. Please help us to be loving and kind and to climb the ladder of the golden ladder to heaven most high, and to bring as many people with us as we can. In the name of Elohim I pray, amen. On the Astrid calendar, it is Mind Day, and the in timepiece contemplation is our God and God, immanent and transcendent. Send to all your angel of peace. To all of the helpful thoughts of my mind, send your angel of power. So important to make sure that we are being in control of what is going through our minds and only letting those positive things ruminate. Tomorrow, we're going to start the Nasrian Emerald Tablets, and it's going to be, I think, like a 4-part thing, maybe, to separate up some of these larger things to digest. But it definitely goes into sacred geometry and white magic and manifestation, and how we are constantly manifesting things into our reality with our thoughts, words, and deeds. All things that we are essentially putting out, whether we actually physically or they're just ruminating in our minds. These things go into the cauldron to make the soup that is our life. So putting good things in is really important, and we're going to be learning more about that in the next few days. Anyways, this weekend has been an interesting time, as obviously I shouldn't say obviously, because people outside of the United States are watching as well. The 4th of July is, a celebration of America's independence from Britain. And first of all, we actually never were disconnected from them. All of the worldly powers control all of the countries, and they are all working together to essentially move us towards their transhuman new world order future. Thankfully, we have the power to stop them and to not go that path. But we also, on top of this illusion of being freed from the crown, so to speak, we also are under the illusion that we are free, and this is not just with America, other countries as well. Even though we are essentially slaves to the 9-to-5 job, some people even more, having to have multiple jobs to make ends meet, to, take care of themselves. And there's very little freedom, even when it comes to voting. Both sides are controlled. Television that are going for president that we are allowed to choose from are always puppets of Uncle Sam, of the eagle, whatever you would like to say. And the eagle's destination is not a pro-human one. It is the way of the artificial spin, which is that downward spiral essentially of Satan that is going to end in, well, it's going to end whenever it ends. But unlike the upward spiral of Yah that is ever expanding and never ends, that is a contracting spiral, and it will end. Everything that is in line with divine will eventually will come to a contracting end, whether it's, own behavior or the behavior of other people or the way that this world is, all the artificial stuff. Thank goodness that the things that are divine mind and divine heart and their will don't get continue on forever. As I had mentioned, I had some friends coming into town. Hey, Kyle, how's it going? And we did end up going down to, there's different festivities happening in Mount Shasta City. And on the 4th of July, they had their parade, and it was interesting to just see all of these people. And the first people that came in the parade were carrying flags and 2 people carrying guns. Growing up in a very patriotic family, that would have, I would have cheered for this. Even the military and the police and all of these various service workers coming past us. It's interesting how much my perspective has changed on that. Even from just the guys with the guns at the beginning, it's just like this unnecessary show of brutality and violence and celebration of violence and oppressing others and all of the things that unfortunately most countries now kind of stand for and are built off of. The bigger the empire in this evil world, the more suffering it has been built on. It's kind of how the evil ones operate. Of course, we can make a empire on the other side, but that looks a lot different. The empires that the children of light are building are in line with nature, and we don't need extravagant things. And yeah, I monastery and at one point this was by all of these people, some bootlickers are cheering, but it's interesting because these are going to be against us, especially here in Mount Shasta being such a big focal point. I originally came here because if the root chakra is in distress and in suffering, the rest of the tree is going to be suffering as well. The powers that be know that, and there's a little military base right at the base of Mount Shasta. Of course, the secret bases that are hidden around it, and other different things. But it's just interesting to see all these people cheering for this military tank that could potentially be used against them someday because they refuse to take the mark of the beast, getting implanted with their technology upgrades. So yeah, it's definitely a different perspective. I that we have is not real. It's not something that we sing, and especially not king over. But yeah, that's kind of unfortunately what patriotism often stands for. Some friends and I were talking about the people for our freedom. Kind of goes right along this idea of we needed Jesus to die for us, right? So you can kind of see how these two, patriotism and this savior idea, kind of go together in one big justification for human sacrifice. That's what wars are. They're just human sacrifice rituals where the powers that be manipulate the people that are under them. They throw bombs at each other and then get the people under them to go and hurt each other, right? It's not that we want to do it. If we were sitting down with people from the other country, I guess I can't speak for you, but if I was sitting down with people from another country, I could easily get along with them and try to figure out our differences without needing to resort to violence. Violence should never even be on an option on the table. Obviously, if someone is like getting ready to hurt a child, then you need to like be able to step in. But with the way of Zion, it's never to go at them aggressively or to hurt them. It's merely an act of compassion and love towards their victim to get them out of that situation and push the defender back enough so you guys out. I'm gonna after you and make sure no this anymore. Right? So yeah, anyways, crazy to see all the people that are still unfortunately in this delusion of patriotism. Obviously, I think we should have pride in our land, and it shouldn't cause division between my land's better than yours, let's fight over it type thing. So anyways, other than that, there were some nice vendors. I got this new t-shirt. Well, it's not a t-shirt, it is a tank top. I also got this cool Tree of Life pendant here. I don't know what I was going to say, but anyways, it was really cool because it actually has 7 branches and 7 roots. I've seen some other ones that don't. And as you know, the Nasrian Tree of Life has 7 branches and 7 roots. So really cool. Super cool. People, unfortunately, lots of drinking, some arguments, some fights going on. We did see one girl, young girl, man, she was really young and she looked kind of on some drugs, not in a good way about her. And I regret not saying something to her and asking her if she was okay, because a little while later we saw her getting arrested. And there's kind of a joke that you come to Siskiyou County on vacation, people on probation. And so I know a lot of people come here, and especially getting mixed up in some of the crowds that are a little bit more lenient with their usage of substances. This actually happened a few weeks ago in the city. There was a guy that was like tripping on acid or something, and he was doing a demonic looking contortionism. He ended up like yelling, and it started. Anyways, I don't know why I'm rattling off that, but I'm just letting you know what happened to my 4th of July weekend. So Mount Shasta gets really, really busy on 4th of July. It's like the mainstream holiday, as far as like when all of like more of the hippie kind of crowd comes in. I think that was probably more around 8/8. When you go up on Mount Shasta on 8/8, it is really hard to find a parking spot, and multiple big like just parties going on multiple different places on the mountain. So we'll see how 8/8 goes. As you might know, I am having an 8/8 gathering with Dave Greenleaf and Priestess Therese. I'm going to be speaking as well, and so probably participating in the live music portion, playing myself. And yeah, I'm really excited about all of that, and the little retreat that we're going to be having kind of around that time as well. So I will keep you informed. If you are interested in coming to that, please let me know. But yeah, I'm super excited about that all coming up, and we'll probably either record or maybe even live stream at least some of the event so that everybody else can see it as well. Kyle says a parade of charades. Yes, while people are cheering for freedom, flock cameras are being installed for mass surveillance. While people celebrate freedom, they eat corpses of animals they Yeah, that's a good point too. Someone had posted in a local community group like, eat as many hot dogs and burgers as you can. It's just like, it's all violence. It's all about harming animals or other humans that perceive as our enemies, and they're not our enemies unless they've been programmed to believe that they're our enemies, in which case they're under a delusion, and those of us that are not under that delusion are responsible to, if we're in that scenario with someone that thinks that they're our enemies, to almost see them as like a child that doesn't know any better. And I'm not going to be aggressive towards a child. I'm not going to hurt a child. So that's kind of where Zion comes into play as well, because it's not, it is a physical combat to, again, protect or get out of a situation, avoiding conflict even as well. So Kyle says, cool necklace. I want one. I was actually thinking this morning about asking, trying to reach out to the vendor that sold this, because he said that he specifically goes to some Indian gentleman to get this specific necklace because it has the 7 branches and 7 roots. So if I information, I will definitely let you know. Well, it is getting a little bit toasty. Phones are both about to die, actually. So I'm going to go and maybe take a dip in the lake and enjoy my day. Tomorrow at noon, we're going to be kicking off the first reading of the Nazarene Emerald Tablet. I'm super excited. Tablets, super excited about it. Like I said, sacred the Philosopher's Stone, different information like that is coming. So I hope that you will join me tomorrow at noon, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. May God and the Goddess bless you.